Hi everyone, welcome to Module 9. In this module, you'll be asked to complete a quiz on fragments, run-on sentences, and semicolons, to develop a draft of the humor argument essay, to post your draft to the discussion, and then there's an optional assignment to request feedback from a tutor, though this is not required. So the first task you're going to see in our module is the quiz on fragments, run-on sentences, and semicolons. There are 3 resources to review. You'll see 2 videos and a website about semicolons. And so after watching the videos about comma splices, fragments, and reading this resource on semicolons, please take the quiz. And with the quiz, you'll be given example sentences and you'll be asked if the following sentences are examples of a fragment, run-on sentence, or misused semicolon. I would encourage you to read the question out loud. And so when you read a piece of text out loud, sometimes you can hear the error. So this is actually the first question in the quiz, so I'll read it to you now. So we want to figure out if these sentences or the sentence is a fragment, a run-on sentence, or a misused semicolon. Humor is one of the highest forms of human communication. It can serve to increase intimacy, show compassion and understanding, break tension, make the unspeakable speakable, in general, bring people together and laughter in a way nothing else can. So that's a really long sentence, right? Do you think it's a fragment, a run-on sentence, or a misused semicolon? So we don't see any semicolons, right? So may not be a misused semicolon. So we have to figure out, do we think it's a fragment or a run-on sentence? So if you read it aloud, you can hear how it all kind of runs together. Humor is one of the highest forms of human communication. It can serve to increase intimacy, show compassion and understanding, break tension, make the unspeakable speakable, and in general, bring people together in laughter in a way nothing else can. It's kind of difficult for me to read that all in kind of one shot. And that's because this is a run-on sentence. So we actually have 3 sentences here. We have this first sentence: humor is one of the highest forms of human communication. That's a complete idea. And so this comma right here should actually be a period, right? The first sentence here makes sense on its own. It can stand alone. It has a subject, humor, right? Has a verb, is, and it's a complete idea. So a period can just be placed after the word communication. Then we would capitalize the I on the word it here, right? It can serve to increase intimacy, show compassion and understanding, break tension, and make the unspeakable speakable. A period would go here. That's one sentence. It's a list, right? But it's one complete idea. So a period after speakable, capitalize the I on in. In general, it can bring people together in laughter in a way nothing else can. We can create a separate sentence here, but we'd have to add a subject, right? In general, it or humor can bring people together in laughter in a way nothing else can. If we just add a period here, we create a fragment, right? So we want to really think about what kind of error we see and how we might correct it. We can immediately discount a semicolon because I don't see any semicolons here, right? So we don't have a misused semicolon. So then we move on and say, is it incomplete? Is it a fragment? No. Does it go on and on and on? Yes. We have more than one complete idea. We need to add at least this one period here. We can add another period here, right? And add a subject. And we could create 3 sentences if we'd like. But right now, it definitely is a run-on sentence. And so you'll see 10 questions. Again, I would encourage you to read them aloud. Try to determine if you see an error. If you don't see any errors, there is an option to choose that. And you can take the quiz again. So if you're unhappy with the first score that you get, you can watch the resources again and look at your answers, right? And complete the quiz again to get a higher score. After this, you'll see that you're asked to develop a draft of the humor argument essay. And so remember, the instructions are in the previous module, in module 8. So you can go back and read those instructions again if you find them helpful. And then take your outline that you developed in the previous module and use it to create paragraphs. And so this is the example outline you saw in the previous week. If this was my outline for a humor argument essay, I would take the ideas that I have here listed under introduction and use them to create one introduction paragraph where I grab the reader's attention. So I decided I'm going to use a joke, right? If I find a joke online, I need to give credit to the source where I find it, or I could write my own joke if I'd like, right? To grab people's attention. Then I'm going to give background on my topic, right? And then I'm going to move into my thesis statement here at the end of my introduction. Then I'll work on my body paragraphs. Each body paragraph will have a topic sentence that makes a point. I'm going to discuss some examples I read from the resources, as well as my own examples to support this point that I'm arguing, right? That's in my thesis statement. When I move into my second paragraph, I'm going to do the same thing, use a topic sentence, right? Support that topic sentence with examples and details and explanation to prove that point. And that's my second point in my thesis statement. And so this is how a formal essay comes together. Our thesis statement guides our writing. It tells our readers what our essay is arguing, right? What points we're going to make in the essay. And then we use lots of details, examples, and explanation to support those points. Make sure to think about the other side of the argument. So who might disagree with you, right? And how is your essay responding to those opposite or opposing viewpoints? You'll want a conclusion in which you restate your thesis statement, summarize your points, and end in an interesting way. You want to make sure that your essay is at least 600 words in length and that you include at least one quote, paraphrase, or summary from one of the humor articles we read. And we want to make sure we avoid plagiarism. And the way to do that is to, whenever we're summarizing, paraphrasing, or quoting, we include the title of the source, right? And the author's name, and an action verb like shares, argues, describes, claims. This is what's called a signal phrase. It signals to readers that I'm going to include information from another source, and it gives credit to that author so that my readers can tell when there are my ideas and when I'm using someone else's ideas, whether I'm stating them directly in quotes or I'm summarizing what the author has shared, or I'm taking a sentence and paraphrasing by writing it in my own way. Okay, and so once you have a draft ready of your humor argument essay, you should move forward and post it to the discussion. And so due by Sunday this week is your argument essay posted as a Word document so that your classmates will be able to open it and read it. And next week we'll complete peer review. And it's recommended, it's optional, so not required, but recommended that you get feedback from a tutor on this assignment. So I know from many of you that you got a lot of helpful suggestions from a tutor when we completed project 1. And tutoring is available free to you. It's just a great way to get someone else's viewpoint on your assignment. Many of the tutors are also instructors, and so they can provide you some great suggestions. Remember, you can go in person to meet with a tutor if you'd like. You can email your essay to the virtual tutors at CNM, or you can use the BrainFuse website. So you have lots of options that are free to you, and I'd encourage you to use them. You do not need to turn in evidence of meeting with a tutor because this is optional. So it's up to you if you'd like to do so. If you'd like to meet with a tutor, you can go ahead. And our essays will not be due until we complete peer review and revise them, so you have time to get some tutor feedback. You'll see a module checklist, like always, to help you ensure you finish the weekly tasks. And if you'd like any help from me on drafting your essay, I'm happy to help you. Just send me an email and we could set up a time to talk by phone or through Zoom video. So I hope you have a great week. Hope you have fun writing your essay. I'm looking forward to reading it, and take care. Thank you. Bye.